crowd that you've got here, and thank you for all the patience that you showed lining up for a long, long time to get my autograph. I do it all the time. I don't know why you have to line up for it. I want to thank all of you for making so much of my life possible, and for your dedication to making sure that Star Trek continues on. Because in 3 more years, in the year 2016, Star Trek will be celebrating its 50th anniversary. And this has been possible only and solely because of the fans. Yes, we worked on the show. Yes, Gene Roddenberry conceived the show, produced it. He was a real visionary and a wonderful storyteller, a sci-fi guy. But this longevity, that was totally unexpected. And this great prosperity in so many ways, was created by the fan support. Without the fan support, we would not have lasted. You know, because at the beginning of each episode, we announced that we're on a 5-year mission. But the most damaging adversaries were not the Klingons. They were the NBC programming executives. We were aborted in only 3 years, 3 seasons. And we thought that was it. You know, we were proud of what we did. We knew we did a good series, told a good sci-fi series of stories with a lot of subtext, a lot of commentary on the conditions of America and the world at that time back in the 60s. But you didn't give up after we were canceled. You began letter writing campaigns, you began demonstrations, and did all sorts of things to show that Star Trek was still alive. And so 10 years after we were canceled, we came back as a major feature film. We never dreamed of that. And you made it a big box office success, despite the fact that it wasn't really that terrific a Star Trek film. We spent more time being awestruck in space. This is what we played. And then, after all that awe, we discovered this thing called feature. And it was the Voyager. That was it. I mean, big deal. It wasn't until, but nevertheless, you supported it and you made it a big box office success. And so Paramount decided to do a sequel. They weren't planning on doing another one, but because it was such an enormous moneymaker for Paramount, they decided to do a sequel. And that's when Star Trek really took off. The Wrath of Khan. And it was that kind of support that continued on and on that brought us to this point in the year 2013, where now we have 3rd and 4th generation Star Trek fans. I mean, whole families, you know, Grandpa now comes with his grandchildren, and the grandchildren are bringing their little ones. And over the generations, something seems to happen to the genes. The 4th generation little babies that are carried around like this have developed 20 years. And they automatically go like this. So, you know, this is a fan-created phenomenon, this longevity. And so we thank you for that. And thank you for so many other wonderful spin-offs that have happened as a result of that. Certainly the spin-off series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, all the others. But also so many other wonderful things that we've been able to do because of your support. And one of them is it's going to bring me back to Denver in a few more months. I'm being honored by the Matthew Shepard Foundation. I'm very flattered for this honor that they're bestowing on me, but I also, because it is an important charity, a very good work the foundation does. You know the story of Matthew Shepard, and you know the kind of hatred and bigotry that resulted in his horrific death. And because of that, so many people have been moved. And they are working to bring understanding and equality to our society. And so to be honored by an organization like that is something that I consider a real tribute, which just energizes me that much more to continue to work. The event is happening on October 12th, and they have these flyers. But one thing they didn't do is tell us where it's happening. So you have to check with the Matthew Shepard Foundation for that. But they've asked me to make this request of you. So on October the 12th, I'm going to be back in Denver somewhere. And I hope I can meet up with many of you there again, supporting a foundation that does very good work. But, you know, I want to briefly pay tribute to the person that made this all possible, and that's Gene Roddenberry. He is I think very few people we can call a great man, and Gene Roddenberry is that, because he saw television and back in the 60s, and he said television can do much more than what it's doing. It should be entertaining, but it has the potential to do so much more. And he came up with the idea of Star Trek, which had as its core philosophy what we call IDIC, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. And you saw that on the bridge of the Enterprise, and certainly in the makeup of the crew. People from all over this planet coming together and working in concert as a team. That's what makes this world a stronger world, and one that can make advances and progresses. And you know, when you stop to think about it, that vision is really at the core of any progress that we make. Isn't it amazing back then, when we were astounded by the fact that we have technology that we can carry on our hips and flip open and start talking into it. I mean, that was amazing then. And today, you know, it does so much more than just serve as a telephone that has no cords attached to it. We do incredible, unimagined things, which are reality today. You know, after we were canceled, we were able to see a human being on the moon. That was something that was thought impossible. Now we have a robot representing us on the surface of Mars. It's named Curiosity. We give it a humanized name. But it's sending back information on Mars.